Thank you. Good morning all. 9 o'clock. I'll declare our council meeting open. Pursuant to section 13 of Council's Local Law number 2, I'm inviting the Interim Management Committee, all 5 members, to address the council on any matters before it today. I'm bound to declare conflicts of interest and potential conflicts of interest. The members of the IMC are not legally bound. If we're in accordance with the Charter, they will declare their conflicts of interest and potential conflicts of interest. Opening a meeting, acknowledgement of country. Ipswich City Council respectfully acknowledges traditional owners as custodian of the land upon which we meet. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, as the keepers of the traditions, cultures and stories of a proud people. I'd ask you all to please stand for the reading of the prayer. Let us in silence pray or reflect upon our responsibilities to the people of Ipswich. We meet today to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, and to make decisions that promote the common good. Thank you. Agenda item D, we don't have any apologies or leave of absences. We do have a condolence motion that I'd like to read. And the motion is that Council convey condolences on behalf of the citizens of the City of Ipswich to the family of the late Alan Morris, who passed away on the 21st of June 2019. Last month, Ipswich lost one of its most loved church and community leaders. Pastor Alan Morris joined Shiloh Church, which is now Chentroad Church, in 1982 as youth pastor in the age of 24, was senior minister at the age of 39, and faithfully served his church and the Goodna Redbank Plains area with distinction for 37 years. On the sports field, he represented Queensland schoolboys in football and spent his teen and young adult life playing church football. Before dedicating his life to the ministry, he turned down an offer to play for the Brisbane Lions in the Phillips League, the forerunner to the A-League. At university, Alan earned a science degree in chemistry, then honours and master's degrees at the University of Queensland. Ultimately, the service of God was to be his life. He was proud to be pastor of a church with one of the largest cross-cultural representations in Australia. He preferred not to call it multiculturalism, but kingdom culture, a church where all nations could join as one to worship. He introduced many innovations and new services to the community through the church, and Shiloh Christian Care shines as a beacon, providing food parcels for around 2,500 families in need every year. Monday the 10th of January 2011 was a day forever etched in the memory of Alan Morris. He was on a day off and became aware of flood warnings for parts of Redbank and Goodna. At about 11 a.m, he was asked by police to open the church as an evacuation centre, and from 12:30 p.m, the first 40 evacuees arrived from Goodna Caravan Park. In the subsequent hours, days and weeks, Alan Morris organised, delegated and wrangled help from wherever he could, whilst the number of registered evacuees peaked at around 250 to 300. Alan Morris successfully navigated the church and the community through a time of crisis. The community will ever be forever grateful for his presence during the flood. I ask that a moment's silence be observed to mark the passing of Alan Morris. Thank you all. Agenda item F, petitions and presentations, we have nil. And item G, the confirmation of the minutes of the previous council meeting. In this instance, we have two council meetings, the regular meeting the 25th of June and a special meeting on the 27th of June. And I will resolve that both meeting minutes be confirmed. Agenda item H, reception and consideration of committees. There were 4 committee meetings held last week. One committee having no agenda items. Economic Development Committee. In that committee, I note that I had declared a perceived potential conflict of interest because I was a employee of Rambry Management Group 2008-2012, who are now working on the CBD redevelopment. But as there was no personal or financial interest, I participated in the meeting in relation to that matter. So the minutes of the Economic Development Committee meetings are resolved. Growth and Infrastructure Committee meeting report also be received and adopted. That minutes resolved. Communities Committee report minutes resolved, and Governance Committee report resolved. Any comments from IMC in those committee meetings? Thank you. Agenda item I, consideration of notified motions, we have nil. Reception of notice of motion for future meetings, J, we have nil. Questions, nil. Agenda item L, officers' reports, we have 3. First report dealing with the change to committee meeting times. There's a slight amendment to that report. I think the governance, in the little schedule, governance committee meeting states it's starting at 12:30 a.m. As keen as I am to work, rather that be p.m. So we'll just change that, please. No discussion. We don't need to talk about that. It's pretty straightforward. Operational matter to when we have items, I guess, when the committees where we have no agenda items, we don't have to wait 20 minutes between meetings. So we'll take that resolve as per the papers that are resolving that in accordance with the Local Government Regulation 2012, the standing committees of council be at the times detailed in the table in that report. Thank you. As amended at 12:30 p.m. for governance. Tender consideration plan, next item, the civic project, audit consultants and retail projects. Again, I should declare a potential perceived conflict of interest for the same reason that I was an employee and at some point director of Rambry Management Group 2008-2012. This is not about Rambry per se. I think there's 13 sub-consultants to Rambry or consultants to council that are working on the CBD. My understanding is it's part of the process of the translation from the closure Ipswich City Properties to council now managing the CBD redevelopment itself. And the tender consideration plan just carries forward those consultants. Any comments from IMC on that process? So I'll resolve as per the report's recommendation A, B and C. Third item is Officer's Report, Queensland Audit Office 2019 Interim Audit Report. So this is a report following the Audit Office assessment of council. Comments from IMC on that report? My only issue on the way through was I noticed there's a number of records. This is QAO's commentary about their assessment and our responses embedded in their report. There's a number of deadlines or targets for council to respond and complete some of those actions, which seems to be August, September, October, November. About November is a time, I think, for another report back to council, or the governance committee then to council, about our progress, because I don't want those dates to slip. Comfortable with that? We won't minute that as a resolution. I think it's just more from where we go from here. Okay, so the report be received and the contents noted. Agenda item M, consideration of items placed on the agenda by council, we have nil. So therefore declare the meeting closed at 9:10 a.m. Thank you.